The three essential elements to wealth preservation. Not a lot of people talk about wealth preservation. A lot of people talk about getting money. 10 best ways to get money. 10 best ways to get money on the side. 10 best, all these other things. But, how do we preserve our money? But, before we get into this, I want to ask you a question. What matters most to you, essentially? So if money and time and work were no longer an issue, so obviously you didn't have to worry about money, you had all the free time in the world, and you didn't have to work, how long would it take for you to figure out what matters most to you? After a few years, the wealthy get bored. Sometimes it might take generations. But in a short time period, if you were to be given insurmountable, unfathomable amounts of wealth, you or your heirs, depending on how old you are, you would eventually get bored. You would have done all the things that you can do with money on the earth, skydive, parasail, paraglide, whatever. Bought a yacht, bought 3 of them, bought one for your neighbor, bought a bunch of property. I mean, after a while, it just gets to the point where it's like, you've been everywhere you want to go, and it's just like you get bored. So at that point in time, you would have to understand what matters most to you. I'm getting to a point. Y'all know I'm getting to a point, right? I just have a certain way of how I do this. So, with that being said, if you were to gain an insurmountable amount of wealth, then, your family will be wealthy, essentially. And if your family's wealthy, you, as well as your family, would eventually get bored. And eventually, after boredom, a wealthy family finds its purpose. Purpose. For better or worse. Please understand what I'm saying. There's only so much I can say. And there's only so many ways I can say it. And so, please understand what I'm saying. Please. Now, I want to talk about, the 3 essential elements of wealth preservation. All right? But first, I want to talk about wealth eroding factors. Those factors that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, which erode wealth, take away from it, which makes it impossible to preserve it if it's gone. These things being taxes, inflation, divorce, education, lawsuits. Then you got expenses. You got to eat. You got to get somewhere. How are you going to travel if you're not traveling? So when you get into the preservation of wealth, you got to understand what factors exist that erode that wealth if not taken into proper consideration. Please hear what I'm saying. At a certain point, a family would get bored. So that family would find its purpose. And in finding a purpose, as long as the purpose isn't mundane and it doesn't have to deal with material aspects, overall material gains or aspirations. That family moves from success, the pursuit of success, to the pursuit of significance. And the family moves away from focusing on output and moves into the focus of comes, what is the outcome, versus what is the output. So let's just get into it. There's 3 essential elements to wealth preservation. I'm gonna get into them. There's 4. I'm just gonna tell you there's 4. I was taught that there was 3, and I'm gonna recognize that because my mentors I respect. But at the same time, I'm a seeker, and I'm a seeker of truth, and I'm a speaker of truth. So I got to kick it. I got to kick it raw, daddy. I got to do my dance. I got to, pancaking toes, just stepping all on your toes. So the first element to wealth preservation. Now we're dealing with wealth, right? So we're dealing with wealth, and I'm not talking necessarily about Federal Reserve notes. I'm not talking necessarily about gold and silver. I'm talking about wealth. Wealth takes the form, at least currently, can take the form of Federal Reserve notes. They can take the form of gold and silver, the form of real estate, property, shares, so on and so forth. So when we're preserving wealth, the first essential element of the preservation of that wealth is control. We need to be able to control that wealth. Let me read y'all something real quick. So, we have this debate about the so-called straw man and, the all capital name. And, you can get into it, you can get out of it, doesn't matter. Really, I don't care. I deal with the facts. And the fact of the matter is that the individual, right? The individual is a U.S. citizen. I'm quoting, a U.S. citizen or, quote, a citizen of the United States is a civilly dead entity operating as a co-trustee and co-beneficiary of the public charitable trust, the constructive Cest Trust of U.S. INC under the 14th Amendment, which upholds the debt of the USA and U.S. INC. That was Congressional Record, June 13th, 1967, page 15,641 through page 15,646. Or, the U.S. citizens residing in one of the states of the Union are classified as property and franchises of the federal government as an individual entity. A Supreme Court citation, Wheeling, Wheeling, Steel Corp. Steel, like the metal. Wheeling Steel Corp. Versus Fox, 298 U.S. 193, 80 L-E-D 1143 56 S.CT 773. You might have to grab the archive because, man, I'm running out of time. I got to get through this. Okay, so check it out. So control. If an individual entity, the entity that files an individual tax return that is residing in one of the states of the Union, is classified as property and franchises of the federal government, how do you control the income that is generated by that individual? You don't really. There's taxes and legislation that's going to be enacted with or without your consent. There's so many different representatives and delegates and superdelegates and all this stuff going on. How does your vote matter? Let's just be honest. So when there's tax reforms and there's stuff going on, all this legislation, there's no control that we as individuals have over the legislation that's being enacted with regards to the individual entity, the entity that files the individual tax return. It's very hard to preserve wealth generated by the individual, that which files an individual 1040 return due to lack of control. There's no control. There's no control. We have no control over legislation. We have no control over Congress. We don't have any control. There's a lot of us on this call right now. A lot of people in the switchboard. I don't know what happened, but must be a really, really hot topic. But none of us have any control over the legislation of the 1040 individual. So that's one of the main elements of wealth preservation that we are not adhering or acknowledging is control. We are generating income, funds, wealth that we're looking to preserve, but the generation of such is being done without control. We work into job. W-2 is the reporting instrument that is used to signify to the IRS what the company withheld from the individual for tax purposes to comply with the Internal Revenue Code and federal statutes with regards to an employer. Really, that's a snitch document. I'm just going to keep it real. They're snitching. This is how much that individual made. And this is what we kept from what the individual made and sent to you. So that individual is required to file a return, that 1040 return. If you don't, it's willful failure to file. There's all types of dances they do when you get to doing dances like that. Now, the legislation, the Internal Revenue Code, with regards to how that individual is treated, is not in our control. We are not in control. We are generating income. Let's just keep it real. An entity with a Social Security number that we do not control how it's taxed. We do not control how many deductions we can take. We do not control how many things we can write off as expenses. We do not control anything with regards to that. We do not control when the money is dispersed that we're earning, the wealth. That is dictated by the corporation. They're in control. You get paid every 2 weeks. Okay. You get paid every week. Cool. You get paid every month. Oh. You get paid every 6 months. All right. Is that up front or what? We're not even in control. We don't even question. How many times do you question a bi-weekly payroll? Never. Because we know that we're not in control. So the first essential element of wealth preservation is lacking off top because of the position that we're in and the entity that we're using to exchange our energy in commerce for wealth representing instruments, Federal Reserve notes, currency. Lack of control. And that's just from the taxation side. Let's not get into, is that individual, that civilly dead entity, you might give you a Social Security number or score and control where you go, where you travel. If you accept a certain type of control or lack thereof, then you'll accept some other types, won't you? Let's just pay attention. I'm just pointing it out. I'm gonna keep it moving because I love y'all, and I mean, wow, a lot of people on here, and the current events, those are real. So control is essential, and I'm just gonna break it down to: do you control how the income that you generate is taxed? Do you? If you do not, you lack an essential element of wealth preservation. Essential. All right, number 2. Let's get into number 2. All right, all right. 3 essential elements of wealth preservation. Flexibility is number 2. Are you flexible in your wealth? Let me just illustrate the inflexibility that we experience every day in our wealth. We contract our labor, expertise, skills for Federal Reserve notes for currency, right? We purchase perishable goods, food to eat. Food doesn't preserve our wealth. We get gas. It's consumed. Gas doesn't preserve our wealth. We pay rent. Rent doesn't preserve our wealth. We pay insurance, which doesn't preserve our wealth unless there's a potential accident, and probability. You can get into, probability as a mathematical, sequencing and so on and so forth, like whatever. With regards to savings, let's say we save. We put these Federal Reserve notes in a commercial bank account in the commercial banking system on a deposit account. This account is not flexible to the interest that is being paid. We may purchase certificates of deposit for savings. We may purchase stocks in corporations, mutual funds. These types of investments, our investments are inflexible. Why? Because the investments that we call investments are all based on and pegged to the United States dollar. So if the dollar falls, your 401k falls. If the dollar drops, the value of your savings account drops. If the dollar drops, the value of your home drops. If the dollar drops, the value of the corporations that are valued in dollars drops. And another eroding factor is inflation. The Federal Open Market Committee shoots for 2% inflation on the currency every year. 2%. 5 years, that's 10%. 10 years, that's 20%. So if you make $100, put it in the bank at 0% interest, or just put it in a shoebox, in 10 years, you lost $20 worth of value from that $100 bill. In 10 years, it's going to cost $120 to buy a basket of groceries that would have cost $100 10 years ago. The same amount of goods, same bread, same milk, same everything. You're just going to have to give $120 in 10 years, because if you listen to the Fed, they're inflating the currency by 2% every year while raising the interest rate. The monetary instruments that we're using to save, purchase, and invest in and value those savings, investments, and purchases is not providing flexibility with regards to diversification of assets. If the value of the asset is valued in dollars and the dollar falls, what happens to the value of the value asset? There's no flexibility in simply generating income as well as saving in the Federal Reserve note monetary instrument. None. There's no flexibility. Flexibility is an essential element to wealth preservation. You need to understand flexibility. The entity that you're generating the income with needs to be able to be flexible in its administration of business and your administration of the entity. Flexibility is key. Very inflexible. Using that individual. Very inflexible. With deductions that can be taken on the return for the individual. Very inflexible. A W-2 employee will never make what the CEO makes, no matter how hard that employee works. Flexibility, number 2. Flexibility, essential element to wealth preservation. Number 3, tax minimization. Y'all knew it was coming. Tax minimization. To the individual entity, how flexible and how much control do we possess with regards to tax minimization? None. There's no way to minimize taxes more than is allowed by the legislation, by Congress, in the Internal Revenue Code. It's called tax evasion. You will go to jail for tax evasion. Debtor's prison. An individual cannot pass his taxable liability onto another individual and receive a deduction on the individual return. If I go to work and I get $30,000 from my job and they write me a check, and then I write you a check for $30,000, the IRS is going to come to me and be like, all right, so what's up with that taxes on the $30,000? You going to do a return? I'm like, no, I gave $30,000 to my family, I gave it to my family. Go holler at the family. No, okay, we'll go holler at them in a second. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's different. But you earn the income. Or, you earn the income using this entity. So the individual needs to pay taxes on the $30,000. I don't even have it. We don't care. You can give it away. You got to give it specifically to like a nonprofit, like a 501c3 tax-exempt entity. And even when you do that, an individual can only give 50% of the individual's annual income and receive a tax deduction. The other 50%, nope, let's holler at that. So even if you give 100% of your money to the church, man, you still got to pay taxes on 50% of it. That's not tax minimization, baby. Private tax-determined entities, private family foundations, an individual can only donate 30% of their gross annual income. That's less. So there's no flexibility and no control with regards to tax minimization. Flexibility, control, and tax minimization are the 3 essential elements to wealth preservation. Now, does it make a little more sense why we broke? It does to me. And we have other elements that come into play when it comes to, wealth eroding factors. We have probate is, let's say you die with the will. You executed a will, so you got a will. Okay, so when you die, the state takes the will, goes into probate court. You got to enter the will into the state probate court, and the state assigns an administrator or an executor to settle all the debts and execute the will. And the state charges a fee for that, just so you know. It's a nice fee, too. So even with the will, you're not passing on all your wealth. Now, if you die without a will, then that's called an intestate. So that goes into probate too, but it's intestate. So that's, the splitting of the assets to the heirs, or the splitting of the debts to the heirs, falls to statute, the state statute, on how they're going to do that, how they're going to work that out. But either way, you're going to be in probate court, with the will, without a will, probate court. You're going to probate that estate, and that's going to erode some of that wealth that you worked your entire life. See, here's my thing. The public didn't give me life, and the public didn't give me this vessel, this physical flesh. I can move my fingers back and forth. The United States government did not give that to me. The founding fathers did not give that to me. The life that I have that permeates inside this body and outside this vessel was not given to me by anyone on this earth, or any body, governmental body or anything. So when it comes to how I choose to spend my time or exchange my time for value, is on me. The only one that can tax that is the Creator. And I don't even feel like that's even real, because if how about I exchange my time for the Creator doing good works, and then exchange my time for, wealth? I got to exchange all my time for wealth, and then give some of the wealth to the Creator, or, the Creator works. Why can't I just, but let's not get into that. Bottom line is, if I'm exchanging my time on this earth that I'll never get back, that was granted to me by my Creator, not by you, why are you taxing it? Why do you get any of it? And most people say, oh, the use of Federal Reserve notes. Half right. The use of Federal Reserve notes with the individual. The individual. Can't stand that individual. Can't stand it so much. But guess what? It's such a repugnant entity, they had to throw your name on it. They had to. They had to make you feel like it was you, and that was your birth certificate, and that's your Social Security number. Otherwise, you will put it down faster than you would put down human feces. Once you're aware of what you're holding, you're going to put it down quick. But they pull the okey doke, a whoop-de-wop on all of us, threw our name on it, never mind that all the letters are capital, attached the social to it, got us running around saying, that's me, this is mine, I'm a authenticated, I'm a Minnesota Rule 22 it, it's mine. Getting worked, unable to preserve our wealth. Not only in our lifetime, I haven't even begun to speak about multi-generational wealth. Remember earlier in the show, I said when money and time and job is no longer an issue for a family eventually gets bored. And that family eventually finds its purpose, for better or for worse. Better or worse. Our families can't even find their purpose because we can't even preserve wealth in the present, let alone the past or in the future, and we cannot pass that wealth through to the next generation and let it be added on to and to compound. We don't even know how to compound. We don't understand what compounding is. We weren't taught that. You have to take a specific finance class, accounting class or something to get into compounding. Please believe this is known. These things are known. So, when you're dealing with the three elements, control, flexibility, tax minimization, you know where I'm going with this. The only way you can do this is through the administration of trust. You got to understand? The contract is the law. And the trust invokes its own jurisdiction through the contract indenture. We can get into jurisdictional elements all day, but basically when it comes to wealth preservation, there is legal avoidance of probate and probate tax upon death, legal avoidance of estate tax upon death, legal avoidance of inheritance tax upon death, legal avoidance of death tax upon death, legal avoidance of generation skipping and gift taxes upon death. Why? Because a trust does not die. You don't need to open new accounts. The successor simply takes over everything that was already going on. There's no exchange in titles. The court doesn't need to step in and probate the estate because the estate is still active and being executed. How? The successor stepped up. Oh. So you mean to tell me no title exchanges hands upon death? No. So there's nothing to tax? No. So there's nothing to probate? No. And you mean to tell me by using trust, I can preserve the wealth that I'm creating currently in my life? Yes. Because you will have the control and flexibility and tax minimization that comes along as a benefit of administering your estate through contract. Asset protection, arm's length dealing, these things are essential. Then you got the 4 pillars of your estate. And those 4 pillars, the 3 pillars of governance of your estate, being proper governance, proper management, and proper investment. If we're not preserving wealth, we can't invest it, let alone properly invest it. Then we can get into the 4 essential aspects with regards to creating and facilitating wealth. Those being private placement accounts, founder stock, and endowments. Real quick though, an endowment is a contract. Well, hold on. Let me read this. I got my dictionary of Finance and Investment Terms. This is the 9th edition. I think this is current. If it's not, whatever. So I got the word endowment in here. And an endowment is a permanent gift of money or property to a specified institution for a specified purpose. Endowments may finance physical assets or be invested to provide ongoing income to finance operations. Endowments may finance physical assets such as a property, such as an estate. Would you like to know how to finance your entire estate? It's done through an endowment. The trust is the only type of entity that can take advantage of an endowment because it never dies. Endowments may finance physical assets or be invested to provide ongoing income to finance operations. An endowment is a contract. That contract specifies the interest. So it's a gift of money And these institutions, we're talking about hospitals and universities, colleges. They have access to certain types of accounts that can they can clear, between 20 and 40 to sometimes 50% return on the deposit. And only hospitals, colleges, universities, and financial institutions can take advantage of these types of accounts. So setting up an endowment with a hospital, university, or a college is a way of generating finance, and the contract specifies the interest. So the interest that's being generated on a deposit, because remember they don't, the institution has no vested interest in that money. You gave it to them, so they're going to split the interest. Half the interest is going to go to the university to fund a specific curriculum or something like that. And the other half is going to go to your private estate, to your family trust or whatever. And that's, that is going to be income to the estate that can be used according to the contract indenture. That's an endowment. We also have founder stock. Founder stock, I got this right here. Black's Law 4th edition calls it founders' shares. In English company law, shares issued to the founders of or vendors to a public company as part of the consideration for the business or concession, etc. Taken over and not forming a part of the ordinary capital. As a rule, such shares only participate in profits after the payment of a fixed minimum dividend on paid-up capital. I mean, there's some legalese in there. We got to study. I hope y'all studying, and I hope y'all downloading these episodes, because sometimes I'll just be doing my dance. So a private placement. This is back to the dictionary finance and investment terms. A private placement, a sale of stock, bonds, or other investments directly to an institutional investor, like an insurance company, institutional investor, trust. A private limited partnership, trust, is also considered a private placement. A private placement does not have to be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. There you go. As a public offering does, if the securities are purchased for investment as opposed to resale. So the trust is going to purchase these securities, these founder stock, is private placement, and they're going to hold on them. They're going to hold them for wealth generation, to get the dividends over and over. And when the trust can't avoid taxation through this type of setup. Ooh, we're streaming. If you fall off, you're done. You got to catch the archive. Hopefully you got a good connection. I already said private placement accounts. I told you about the diamonds. Oh, and insurance. Insurance. Life insurance. If you could do the right thing, the dividends pay the premiums after, once you get your dance going. So what the contract is producing in money is paying for the premiums or the insurance payments. Think about what I just said. You can borrow against the cash value of these life insurance policies too. Understand that the payment of the premiums of these life insurance policies are expenses to your trust, your estate. They're capped at 12%. They compound at 12%, which means the premiums that are paid, the cash value, the compounds at 12%. So there's a cash value that develops over a certain time. And this is how you X out banks and credit unions. You don't need them anymore for a loan. Why? They're capped at 12%, but generally you're gonna find them around 4% right now. You can research indexed universal, and whole life type policies. I know two people in the private that sell insurance. If you're ready, email me, get with me. But when it comes to wealth preservation, I do not play around. I have a family. I take the family very seriously, and my provider role is the most serious that could ever be. So, this episode, obviously, I don't know if you can tell, but, it means something to me. And it hits home for me, wealth preservation. I grew up poor. A lot of y'all know, I've said it on the air before, My dad was off that stuff. And he'd be gone for days. And, junior high, early, 7th grade, 6th grade, we, I had brothers and stuff, and, I was jumping in dumpsters to get food. And I'm ashamed to say it. So when it comes to poverty and wealth, it hits home to me. And when I look at my children, there's no damn way. And I think that is one of the essential elements of how I was able to get where I am. Because there was no way that I wasn't going to get here and beyond. And I think that's part of the mentality. But it also, knowledge is important. And being informed is half the battle. G.I. Joe used to say that. Knowing is half the battle. He's like, no, I know. And knowing is half the battle. And it was corny, but it was real. Ultimately, we need to understand that universal laws are the principles underlying any success in any area. Period. This is what it is. And, what I understand will continue to be. And if you don't understand what universal laws are, it's, what is that, Psalms? The Psalms? It's tough for me to remember. Wisdom has, built her house. She has hewn her 7 pillars. 7 pillars. The 7 principles, 7 hermetic principles: mentalism, correspondence, gender. We got to study these things. When we serve on the higher, we can rule on the lower, and commerce is definitely low, low, low. If you're paying for water, which is necessary for life, whatever system that is very low. I don't care what you're talking about. And my cause, my thrust, my charitable nature, requires me to disseminate this information every single week here on the Foundation on Higher Frequency Radio Network. I trust that I'm able to articulate these principles in a manner that's easily digestible and assimilated. Because people talk all the time, and most people like to sound smart and use big words, but it's really confusing. I don't know what the hell you just said. Doesn't make sense. So I'm just gonna smile and nod because I don't want you to think I'm stupid. Because I got a low self-esteem. It is what it is. I'm poor, I'm broke. It's a vicious cycle, and it's hard to get out of. I know that. I know, sisters. I know, brother. But it's possible. But knowledge is most important. And we need to understand what we're pushing for, what we're looking for, what we're moving for. And if it's not for your family, then you should get off of my show. I'm not playing. But if it is for family, that's a noble cause. And noble cause are divine. And, as long as we serve on the higher, we rule on the lower. And that's all. I just want you to rule on the lower. I just want you to rule on the lower. I'm about to go to the phone lines in a couple minutes. We streaming. This is a long show with a lot of people on the switchboard. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you very much. I'm about to go into the phone lines in a second here. But as I wrap this up, I do want to say, there's things that can be done to, begin to correct our situations. Sacrifices must be made. Some sacrifices must be made that we don't know that we can do, that we don't believe we can do. But, you know, you got to live how most won't so you can exist easily how most can't. And to me, that's really important. And, you know, keeping that in mind, we're almost there. It's looking weird, but we're almost there. And, you know, I'm still here. I stand tall in the flesh. There's nothing no one can say about that. And I'm your brother, and I got your back. I swear I do. I affirm that I do. So, I won't even say the number because if you ain't called in, you're done, son. But I'm going to go to the phone lines in a second here. You just get this ready, make sure this stuff isn't acting all weird and whatnot. But, you know, I trust that you enjoyed the show. I trust that you learned something. Y'all can get with me, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. I do conduct private consultations. I do offer trustee training, help you transition into the private actually, factually, truthfully, not no jive, turkey, and then disappear poof. The number you have dialed, none of that with me. Because why? And, you know, we got to do what we got to do. And if I feel like if you're on this broadcast and you haven't got into the trustee training, then you really need to. Because if you're on high frequency, if you listen to the foundation, if you know who So L is, you need to have your trust set up. It's ridiculous. If you could see me, you can see me rolling my eyes right now. I almost don't understand it. Email me, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. Let's work something out. But yeah, I'm going to go to the phone lines. It's hard not saying the number every single time. You put all these dictionaries and notes and books away real quick. I went in for this episode. I hope y'all learned something, because this stuff is important. All right, welcome to thefoundation.com. Make sure you sign up for the email list. You know how I am with this email list. I do not play. Phone lines are open. You want to say what's up? You got a question? Just push 1 on your keypad. I'm going to go to Sister Yvette first. Peace, Sister Yvette. How you doing? Whoa. Hold on. This might not be Sister Yvette. Let me double check. I don't think that's Yvette. All right, just in case it's any Yvette. 347-0529, 347-0529. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from? (347) 0529. Yeah, see, that ain't that. 860-9968. 860-9968. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
THC was created in the U.S. Army Chemical Corps laboratory.
Man. 860, whoever you are, you getting it in. You listening to all types of shows at the same time, just getting in knowledge. Wow, I commend you. 925-9681. Peace.
Hello?
Peace, you on air? You live?
All right, man. What's up, man? What's good? How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, brother. How you doing?
All right. Joined the show and, came to support, put my energy out. Hopefully it's helping you and helping others. But, yeah, man, like you said, people got to figure out what is their purpose in life. And, you got to figure that out. And then you could be able to, make the moves you need to. Because, when you realize that a lot of the reason why all of us just doing what we're doing is because we believe or we were taught, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do this like everybody else is doing. You know, everybody's been doing it as far as going to school or whatever, you know. And people get caught up just following the same trends, not making their own. And then once you do that, once you get to, you know, start figuring out what you really want to do, right, and you start making the notes, you know, the money, the cheddar, whatever people want to call it, then you got to learn how to be able to not lose it, you know. And what you're talking about is truthful. And it'll come through what you need to do because, like me, the reason why I started learning about this stuff because I was trying to, you know, get myself in a better situation. But I was like, I got to try to help my sister, my family, my mother, and then if I have any children in the future, like I want to have them have something, you know. So, you know, like you said, I feel like that's why I ended up learning about this stuff because I just was like, I got to figure this out. But what's all, you know, start putting my mind into this whole idea and, you know, changing and getting rid of all that negative information that wrong information and starting to get on this right information. So, you know, you got to really start putting that, you know, putting your energy where you need to put it at and take responsibility for your life. Because I feel like a lot of us is worrying about the government, Trump, and all this stuff. And that's the mind of the person that's thinking that these people got some type of control over you, you know, if you stay in that system. But if you trying to get out and you trying to, even if you go, you know, I'm not going to sit up here and not go anybody to W-2 because I still got a W-2. I'm trying, you know, I'm eventually getting off of it. But, if you know, for you who got a W-2 working, it doesn't mean you got to do exactly what they're saying. You can start making the moves right now so you can eventually be able to have stuff. So if you are no longer doing that job or you're doing it for yourself instead of doing it for somebody else or whatever, if you are doing that job and somehow you lose it, you're not in a bad position. You see? Because some people do like right. What they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, because I hear people talk bad about people having these, you know, jobs, but if you love doing what you're doing, then do it. You know, all I would say is try to transition. I think I'll say if you could do it, try to transition for yourself or just make sure you got enough so if you get cut or whatever, you know, you can be able to survive and help your family. So, no, like I said, I'm taking leaps and boundaries right now. I'm jumping out into the, you know, to the abyss, trying to hopefully, you know, I'll put it this way. I know I'm going to get where I need to get. I'm just making sure I do it the right way because I'm believing I'm going to get where I need to go. I'm trying to learn this information and doing that, you know, because so what I read, it's like, you know, I'll tell you the book, and I was looking for it. It's 33 Strategies of War, and it basically said one of the strategies that it said is like, you know, maybe some people need to, you know, take a risk or put yourself in the corner or take that risk because if you got something that you got to rely on sometimes, you'll never push yourself to go first. Yeah, it becomes a crutch.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's real. So that's true. I hate to rush you, fam, but I got like mad callers behind you, and I can't let you go. I'll leave the mic open if you just mute yourself, though.
Okay. Well, I was about to cut it off.
Come back to me.
All right.
All right. Go ahead. Finish your thought. My bad.
Oh, all I was saying is that's what I was saying. We got to sometimes put ourselves in bad positions. That's all I was going to say. Because I said not bad positions, but take the risk because that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm like, I'll be honest. I'm kind of in a way back in my mind. I'm kind of nervous about like, you know, taking a risk and losing this job, but I know in my heart that it ain't gonna help me, so I need to make that move. You know, and for me, I can in a little way, but some people can't. So I say, just be able to make the move, but just push forward, and that's it. And I'm out.
True indeed. Appreciate you, Brian from the Bay. Thank you, sir. All right, 718-8092. 718-8092. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, peace, Soel. How you doing? Me down.
Hey.
Yeah.
Peace,
how's
brother.
everything, Soel?
How you doing, Daryl? Everything's great. How you doing?
I'm all right, brother. I'm okay. We down. Just say, go and say hello and see how you're doing and listen to the show. That everything's all right. I'm gonna let you take the next caller, okay?
Okay, man. Good talking to you, man. You good though? Everything's good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm being good. I'm behaving myself. I just ain't doing the numbers game. That's all. A lot of people doing the numbers game till they're 65 and stuff like that. Oh, one thing I want to say, when I do decide to go to college again, I'm going to college because it's a hobby. Actually, I have my driver's license already, and when I do go to college the next time, I'm going to go to college to have my pilot license. But I'm not going to be working with somebody. I'm just going to be flying myself, just like I normally drive myself. I'm going to be flying myself. So, and the next thing I'm going to get me a boat license, learn how to do that too, and just, sell myself. That's the way I feel. Like, when you get to a certain level, you're going to school and, it's for a hobby. I don't want to go to school just to be, I get a good job, I'm going to be working for somebody. I go to school, it's going to be a hobby. But that's what I want to say to everybody out there, like that, everybody going to school to get a better job, and maybe they should go to school and just something to make them happy, not to make somebody else happy. Anyway, I'm going to let you take the next call, so all right? Peace and love, man.
All right, fam.
All right?
Peace and love.
Always.
I appreciate you, man.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, appreciate
Peace.
you too. All right, peace.
All right, 203-5523. Area code 203, last 4, 5523. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Connecticut. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. I've been listening to your show for a long time, but I never get in touch with you. But today is a lucky day for me.
It's a lucky day for me.
I'm really looking to have a consultation with you because I went down to the bank today to open a business account. But after I realized they wanted to open it under my Social Security, I told them I'll come back until I get in touch with you. And knowing what form that I need to file first. First of all, get my LLC from the state and also getting my EIN number and set up Social Security under my name.
Okay, yeah, I can help you with that. You can send me an email, admin@welcometothefoundation.com.
Yeah.
We can get it started. Or you can just go to the site, welcometothefoundation.com, and then there's a spot where it says book a consultation. You can do it from there, straight from the website. But either way you want to do it, that's fine. But yeah, I can help you with that. That's no problem.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I need to stay away from the mode of slavery. I'm tired of going to work like crazy. I have not accomplished nothing. It seems like you work, we get the money, and the money disappears.
Yeah, the money's gone.
Yeah. I'm getting older, and I'm getting worried that I haven't leave nothing for my 3 kids,
No, I understand completely. I would, it'd be an honor to help you get into a proper position. So
thank you.
Make sure,
Thank you
definitely hit me up. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, bye.
All right, peace. Where's that? Ooh. Okay, so next caller, where am I at? I don't want to lose my spot, yo. 318-7929. 318-7929. Peace.
Hello,
What's your name? Where you calling from? Hey,
this
peace.
is Tamika, and I'm calling from the Boot, which is Louisiana. I've done the email list with you, so I've received yes.
Okay. Peace. How you doing?
Having all the fun. I always listen, and I've been, I guess you could say, on my grind with getting everything taken care of so I can get into proper positioning. I do have a email that I was about to send to you about setting up meetings with you for next week as far as consultation. Question, though, on the banking for one of them. It was something, I think it was the last show, possibly. I got the information that I needed from this show, but when it comes to the banks for what's local or feasible as far as the banks that are close by or banks that I've already done business with, I know as far as setting up one for my trust and for the business, we try not to use the banks that we normally would use as far as the CPN is concerned. What do you do if those banks are not accessible because you already have accounts with them?
If you're talking about trust account, it's not absolutely required that you have your trust accounts at a bank where you don't have any private accounts. It's a very serious recommendation because
I don't want them to mix
situation, right. If they're at the same bank, it makes it easier and sometimes instigates commingling. You know.
Yeah, I don't want it to be commingled.
Right. So if you're adamant and you're not, going to commingle and you trust in your proper administration, and you don't commingle and you don't self deal, I don't see an issue. I don't see a serious issue. It's just, people who are starting out and who are just starting to learn and just starting to understand the administration of trust, I just tell them don't do it. It just makes it easier.
Okay. I think everything else I'll cover with you. Since private, I'd like to stick with that during my call. Yeah. But other than that, thank you for all the gifts.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll talk to you soon, sister. Have a great day. Have a great evening.
All right. You too.
Peace. All right. Where we at? 346-0701. With all these callers. 346-0701. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Grace and peace, Mark. This is KB, man. I spoke with you recently. Consultation. I'm just giving you a shout out, man. It's first time digging getting in on the live feed with you. I really appreciate the information and you putting it out there. Highly, highly important. I hope the world, or all the world that's listening in on it, really understand that. You know what I'm saying? You got the IRC, and you got you're dealing with taxes and you're dealing with trust. In this system, everything is in trust. And perceivably, everything is being taxed. So, very, 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 very important. Glad you out there, man. I appreciate you. Just giving you a shout out.
Oh, family, I appreciate you. I appreciate you checking out the show, whether in the archives. I'm glad you was able to catch it live. Family, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah. No doubt. Pass the mic.
I'll be talking to you soon, man. Appreciate you. Peace.
Bet. Peace, more.
All right. 205-0377. I think this is my guy.
Indeed. You know what it is. The superconductor himself. Reporting live and direct from Birmingham, Alabama. What the business is, so, you know what I'm saying? Salute to the gods, man. Give thanks to the creators, the ancestors, the forefathers, and the foremothers, and those that continue to pay the word therefore afterwards, including give thanks to ourselves for tuning in on this divine moment, this divine night, because we could be doing anything other than anything else than tuning in to the foundation, learning how to build a foundation, become a foundation, and also, give our undivided divine attention, to you, brother. So, I give thanks. I'm on new journeys and new paths. As you know, I've been taking up the thermodynamics studies and sciences and whatnot. So about this time next year, I should be on a different certification level. You know what I mean? But just to give more passion and depth to it a little bit, man, it's like sitting in class. It's like learning more identity of self. But I was tapping into class and going into studies of thermodynamics about heat, the temperature between relationships, between pressure and degrees, and you know what I'm saying, different angles or whatnot, kilowatts, and dealing with force and energy. You know, it's all up. It's all revealing identity of self, and it's truly beautiful, family. I mean, you know, work times force equals, you know what I'm saying, business. I mean, we gotta be more in tune, like you were saying about the keyword control, bro. We gotta get more control with controlling factors. What are the controlling factors? You see what I'm saying, that we should be concerned with when we're dealing with economics and corporations and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? It is our energy, kinetic energy, potential energy, gravitational, potential energy. We got energy that we need to be exercising, you know what I'm saying, on a level to actually gain true results, you know what I'm saying, to define true purpose. So it's truly beautiful. I'm in tune with the atoms, electrons, you know what I'm saying, different pressures and whatnot, and actually utilizing that in the everyday. So, you know, I definitely give thanks, bro. We building on the topic, on the science. So when we set that LLC up multi-dimensionally, we'll be able to have multi-services to be able to offer out to the public as well. So we will serve on a higher as well. You know what I'm saying? We will serve. So, you know, and that's truly what it is. It's beautiful, bro. And I'm just taking down, jotting down, you know, re-archiving, and just staying afloat and staying the course, because we have an ultimate purpose, you know what I'm saying, at hand. And, you know, everyone plays a role in it, bro. So I'm definitely in tune. I'm in tune with the forces in the background. They're keeping everything, you know what I'm saying, working. So I give thanks, though. Definitely give thanks, you know what I'm saying. Definitely give thanks. Small thanks to a giant, bro.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you calling in. You sound like you charged up,
yes,
man.
Sir.
That's cool. You know, taking those classes.
Oh, yes, sir.
Continuing the education,
yes, sir.
man. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Indeed. You know, and just to be on the aspect, let the family know, you know, there is another route I could have took with that. Yeah, I could have said, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna, you know, take part of these services or whatnot. But the key thing is, if you can see what it is, the essence of the knowledge. It's the information. Is what's being obtained. See, it's the information. Once the information can be obtained, then we can do other things afterwards. See, and that is the actual key and part of the plan. You see what I'm saying? That's part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? To obtain the information. So once I obtain this information, I can go ahead and go out and start to purchase certain things, and then create my own, you know, team of private heating airmen, servicemen. Because, you know, you got to think about it, family. There's nothing we can do without the elements. We're built of them. We're governed by them. So what are we going to do when it get hot? What are we going to do when it get cold? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, got to master. Practice the craft, master the art. So I'm with it, bro. I'm definitely in tune with it. I'm going to definitely be giving you a call, though. You know what I mean? I've been trying to keep certain ones in tune with me, around me. You know what I'm saying? To chime in, too, as well. So, you know what I'm saying? Give thanks. I trust, not hope, but I trust they're listening to as well. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely what it is, though, bro. Give thanks. Good to hear from you. Pussy vet, where she at? You know what I'm saying? You know, looking to hear from you too as well, man. I got my pen and pad ready to add to the end of closing. So,
for real, she comes and drops the jewels. There's someone on here that I think I'm gonna try one more line. It might be her, but
okay.
If not, I'm just gonna chill the show out. We've been streaming for a minute. This is a long show.
You're right. Definitely right.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
Indeed. I'm gonna hit you up too. I'm gonna hit you up in a little bit too, man, because I got some things going on where I want to tap into the express. You know what I'm saying? I want to tap into the express. So man, yeah, man. Start out with some a little bit. You know, we gotta start out somewhere, man. So I just figured, man, it ain't gotta be long and stiff and outdrawn, but I want to start out somewhere where we can be able to just set this up and build the access as we go. We'll build access as we go.
True indeed. All right,
sir.
family. Well, yeah, I'll be looking forward for you to hit me. And I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Do that. Indeed.
All right, man. Love. Peace to God. I got one more. I'm going to try, see if this is Sister Yvette. I mean, if it's not, it's cool. You know, I care about you, too. But 347-0529, peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's the deal? What's the deal? Peace,
yes.
Community. Peace to my kings and queens. I am sorry about last week. My phone died on me. But we going to give y'all some numbers tonight. And I want you to listen in closely, community, because all the current events is what is leading up to our very demise. It's getting in the proper perspective and the proper order quickly. We're looking at the rents that's going on right now. You're looking at $1,100 a month. You're paying $13,200 yearly. If you do that 7 years, you're looking at $92,400. If you do it 15 years, you're looking at $198,000. If you do it 30 years, you're looking at a mortgage of $396,000 that you're paying to somebody else, and you don't own a penny of it, and it's not coming back to you. But let's take the figures a little higher. If you're looking at the average rent that is now $1,700 a month, and you do the math times 12 months, that's $20,400 a year. Times 7 years, that's $142,800. You do 15 years, that's $306,000. If you do 30 years, community, we're looking at $612,000. Okay, the average one-family house out here right now, the lowest we're looking at is $750,000, and that's not even a fixer-up. Okay, community, this is the reality check. You see these little tracking codes we got called Social Security, because that's what they are, tracking devices. They track us so they could keep account on our money and our progress. Get yourselves in order. Get yourselves in the right perspective. I keep saying it. Clean up your socials, because you need clean socials to obtain these government properties that they say we're paying for, because we are paying for it. But in the reality is all our mortgages belong to all the holders overseas, because America don't own nothing. If you go over the seas, everybody else owns our mortgages that these banks lend us. That's the reality check. Now, you don't want to co-mingle, sister, because I heard you closely. If you don't want to co-mingle, you don't use your state-issued IDs. You go and get passports. They don't have an address on that passport. They just have a number. They don't have any information that the banks know, because most of us don't go in the banks and use passports. That's if you don't want to commingle. If you don't want to commingle, you never use your state IDs wherever you go. If you don't want nobody to do a history check on your bad credit, don't use your state-issued IDs. Okay? Now, for the alternative 9 digits, we're not even going to get into that. Just don't co-mingle. Whatever you do, use your passports, people. Now, the average person, we work 35 hours a week. Some of us 40. And if we don't have enough money to make the bills or pay the rent or whatever, we work an average of 60 to 72 hours. People, stop doing the numbers game. We're not doing the numbers game. Check yourselves, okay? Number games is, what do you all have stored up in their retirement? It's time to tap in, do the consultation. My brother, I've been distracted because you know why? Sometimes you try to take people with you and they not on the same level. So community, if you trying to get in the right perspective, everybody is not going to wish you well. They're not going to mean you well. And you even got some that's going to drag you down while you're trying to get to your transition. Bless them. God bless them. That's all I got to say. Make sure when you make your transition, you understand this. Everybody's not going to pat you on the back. Everybody's not going to be happy for you. Everybody's not going to give you their blessings. Just know, reach out, do what you got to do. Now, what matters most to you? Make sure whatever money you get, you make sure that you share around the wealth after you set yourself up properly. And another thing, community, what's not good to you is not good for you. That means toxic people, toxic relationships, toxic friendship, toxic coworkers, cut them loose, okay? Now, the levels you need to be at, understand your consciousness of what you're trying to obtain. Make sure you get there. Don't step on anybody while you get in there. But just remember, once you get to your level and you're comfortable, then you reach back over the wall and grab those who want to come. Because see how you know people want to come? They reach up and they're willing to work with you. The ones who don't want to work with you are going to be the very ones that pull you down, my brothers and sisters. Kings and queens, stay focused because I'm watching. They're not playing with us. As you see, they are getting ready to set up the caste system, but through the credit. They're getting ready to single out who's going to make it and who ain't going to make it. Check yourselves. Get yourselves in order. Buy your trade lines. Straighten out your credit. Get your properties. Stop paying all this money into these brown bags that got holes in it. Because the holes ain't for you to get none of it that's coming out. It's for everybody else. And it ain't our people. Check in your neighborhoods. Who owns your properties? Who are you renting from? Peace, community. Peace, kings and queens. I'll be back at you next week. Saltel, my brother, you be blessed, you and the family.
Thank you very much, Sister Yvette. Appreciate you every time. Peace and have a great week.
Peace, community.
All right, everyone. You heard the sister. It's going down. And, I would just so happen to agree with pretty much everything she said. But, more important is that we got to get right. We got to get our minds right. We got to get our thinking right. We got to get our understandings right. Right and exact. Correct. Or however you want to, whatever terminology that you want to use in describing a specific state of not only mind, but being. And with that state, it's intention, knowledge, action, consistency, dedication, believe to become. And if you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting until you're gone. So it's time to make some moves. Hopefully, the energy that I provide, that's provided by the foundation here on High Frequency Radio Network, is assistance to the movement that is required and necessary to be able to survive this transition and possibly thrive. Let's just get it together. Y'all my people, y'all my brothers and sisters, I love you with all my heart. And that's why I do this. So with that being said, that's a wrap. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Make sure you sign up for the email list. Like I said, the email blast will go out tomorrow with regards to the trade lines that I was talking about last week. So if you were looking for that, cool. If you're live right now and you're not on the email list and you want that, welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Also, you can find the social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook page. There's content that's being shared, semi-regularly, but it's getting better. So if you want to be a part of that, you can find that from welcome to thefoundation.com, as well as you can do a donation, sign up for a consultation, read some PDFs, all that from welcome to thefoundation.com. Thank you very much. Like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all every week and every single day. And this is why I do this. It's for you. So keep moving, keep pushing, keep believing, and keep working, keep studying, keep trying. We cry, wipe the tears, and we go to work because that's what's required. And I'm willing to do that with you. Just you got to be willing to do it for you and yours. So highfrequencyradionetwork.com. Make sure that you check out all that's available there. Yusuf is always working on that thing, making it better, making it better. And, you know, with that being said, I appreciate you. I love you. Be good to yourself. Enjoy yourself. And show some love to someone else, because as you walk away, you're going to feel good about it. Until next time, until next week, welcome to the foundation. Peace to the God.
Doing this thing all the way live.
High Frequency Radio.